Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Seneca. Most people think resolve is some innate characteristic, a gift given at birth. They believe you either have it or you don't. That's a lie. Resolve isn't a genetic lottery, it's a muscle. And like any muscle, it's built through deliberate, consistent training. We are the ones who understand that potential lies dormant, waiting to be forged in the fires of adversity. They are the ones who settle for the hand they've been dealt, forever blaming circumstance for their weaknesses. They seek comfort, we seek challenge. They avoid pain, we embrace it as a teacher. They crumble under pressure, we use it to sharpen our edge. Resolve isn't a birthright, it's a choice. A choice made every single day, in every single action, in every single thought. The building of resolve begins with radical self-awareness, an unflinching assessment of your current state. This isn't about fleeting moments of introspection, but a brutal audit of your weaknesses, your fears, and your ingrained patterns of avoidance. Most people construct elaborate narratives to shield themselves from the truth, narratives of victimhood, of exceptional circumstance, of inherent limitation. They cling to these stories because facing reality is painful, because admitting weakness requires taking responsibility. But resolve cannot be built on a foundation of lies. It demands ruthless honesty. You must dissect your excuses, dismantle your self-deceptions, and confront the uncomfortable truths about who you are and what you're capable of. This is not an exercise in self-flagellation, but an act of strategic clarity. You cannot fix what you refuse to acknowledge. True resolve is not blind optimism. It's clear-eyed realism coupled with unwavering determination. Once you have established that baseline of honest self-assessment, the next step is deliberate exposure to discomfort. The human mind is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. It's a survival mechanism. But resolve is forged in the crucible of adversity. To build it, you must actively seek out challenges that push you beyond your comfort zone. This could be anything from tackling a difficult project at work to pushing your physical limits in training. The specific challenge is less important than the act of consciously choosing to confront something that makes you uncomfortable. The key is consistency. Sporadic bursts of intense effort are less effective than a steady stream of manageable challenges. Like any muscle, resolve atrophies when it's not used. Make discomfort a regular part of your routine. Embrace the feeling of resistance, the urge to quit, the voice in your head that tells you it's too hard. These are the signals that you're pushing your boundaries, that you're building mental fortitude. Furthermore, understand that setbacks are inevitable. The path to resolve is not a smooth, linear progression. It's a series of stumbles, failures, and course corrections. The crucial difference between those who develop unwavering resolve and those who remain perpetually weak is their response to these setbacks. The weak allow failure to define them. They internalize it as evidence of their inadequacy. They use it as an excuse to give up, to retreat back into their comfort zone. Those with resolve, on the other hand, view setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth. They analyze their mistakes, identify areas for improvement, and adjust their approach accordingly. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a necessary stepping stone. Resilience is not about avoiding failure. It's about bouncing back from it stronger and more determined. Cultivate a mindset of continuous improvement, a relentless pursuit of progress, even in the face of adversity. Then you must learn to manage your internal dialogue. The mind is a battlefield, a constant tug-of-war between empowering and disempowering thoughts. The voice of self-doubt, the voice of fear, the voice of negativity, these are powerful adversaries that can erode your resolve if left unchecked. The key is not to silence these voices entirely. That's an impossible task. Instead, learn to recognize them for what they are, simply thoughts, not facts. Challenge their validity, question their assumptions, and reframe them in a more constructive light. Develop a repertoire of mental tools to combat negative self-talk, affirmations, visualization, mindfulness. Practice these techniques regularly, especially in moments of stress or uncertainty. The goal is to cultivate a sense of inner control, the ability to consciously choose your thoughts and direct your mental energy towards constructive action. This is not about positive thinking in the superficial sense. It's about strategic thinking, about consciously shaping your internal narrative to support your goals. Finally, surround yourself with an environment that reinforces your resolve. The people you associate with, the media you consume, the physical spaces you inhabit, these all exert a subtle but powerful influence on your mindset. If you spend your time with people who are constantly complaining, making excuses, and indulging in negativity, their behavior will inevitably rub off on you. Conversely, if you surround yourself with people who are driven, disciplined, and supportive, their energy will inspire and uplift you. Seek out mentors, role models, and peers who embody the qualities you aspire to cultivate. Limit your exposure to negative news, social media drama, and other forms of toxic content. Create a physical environment that is conducive to focus, productivity, and self-improvement. This might involve decluttering your workspace, creating a dedicated exercise area, or simply spending more time in nature. Your environment is not a passive backdrop. It's an active participant in shaping your mindset. Curate it deliberately to reinforce your resolve. Consider the story of James Mattis, a Marine general known for his unwavering resolve. During the Battle of Fallujah, one of the fiercest urban combats of the Iraq War, Mattis faced a situation where the rules of engagement were constantly challenged by the brutal reality on the ground. Insurgents used civilians as human shields, booby-trapped homes, and launched ambushes from mosques. Many commanders would have cracked under the pressure, issuing orders that compromised their principles or endangered their troops in a desperate attempt to minimize casualties and achieve a quick victory. Mattis, however, did not waver. He understood that the long-term consequences of sacrificing moral integrity would be far greater than any short-term tactical advantage. He insisted on strict adherence to the laws of war, even when it meant taking more casualties and prolonging the fight. He personally reviewed every airstrike target to ensure minimal civilian casualties, even when his staff urged him to expedite the process. This commitment to ethical conduct, in the face of extreme pressure, inspired his troops and earned the respect of the local population, ultimately contributing to the success of the mission. The lessons from Fallujah are clear. Resolve is not simply about willpower or toughness. It's about having a deeply ingrained set of principles and the courage to uphold them, even when it's difficult or unpopular. It's about recognizing that true strength lies not in brute force or ruthless expediency, but in unwavering integrity. Mattis's resolve was not born overnight. It was forged through years of study, training, and self-reflection. He was a voracious reader of military history and philosophy, constantly seeking to learn from the successes and failures of others. He rigorously trained his mind and body to withstand the stresses of combat, developing a mental and physical resilience that allowed him to remain calm and focused under pressure. He cultivated a deep sense of self-awareness, understanding his own strengths and weaknesses, and constantly striving to improve. His example demonstrates that resolve is not a fixed trait, but a skill that can be developed through conscious effort and disciplined practice. To cultivate this kind of resolve in your own life, you must first identify your core principles. What values are you unwilling to compromise, no matter the cost? What kind of person do you aspire to be? Once you have a clear understanding of your principles, you must then develop the mental and emotional fortitude to uphold them in the face of adversity. This requires a willingness to confront your own fears, insecurities, and weaknesses. It requires a commitment to honesty, self-discipline, and continuous self-improvement. It requires a willingness to stand up for what you believe in, even when you are standing alone. Develop your own code of conduct, your own personal rules of engagement. Write them down, memorize them, and review them regularly. Let them serve as your guide in moments of uncertainty, a compass pointing you towards the path of integrity and purpose. Practice making difficult decisions that align with your principles, even when there is an easier, more convenient option. Each time you choose to act in accordance with your values, you strengthen your resolve and build a more resilient mental framework. Remember that resolve is not about being inflexible or stubborn. It's about having a clear sense of direction and the courage to stay on course, even when the path ahead is uncertain or challenging. It's about adapting to changing circumstances without compromising your core values. It's about recognizing that setbacks are inevitable, but that they do not define you. What matters is how you respond to those setbacks, whether you allow them to break you, or whether you use them as opportunities to learn, grow, and become stronger. Embrace challenges as opportunities to test and strengthen your resolve. Seek out situations that push you beyond your comfort zone, that force you to confront your fears and insecurities. Learn from your mistakes, but don't dwell on them. Focus on what you can control: your thoughts, your actions, and your responses to the challenges you face. Cultivate a mindset of continuous improvement, always striving to learn, grow, and become the best version of yourself. This relentless pursuit of excellence will not only strengthen your resolve, but will also inspire others to follow your example. The trap lies in comfort, the allure of ease, the seductive whisper of the path of least resistance. This is where resolve crumbles, where the mental fortress begins to erode. It's a gradual decay, almost imperceptible at first. A skipped workout, a postponed task, a compromise on your principles, justified by exhaustion or circumstance. Each small deviation weakens the structure, creating cracks that will eventually widen into chasms. The weak mind craves instant gratification, seeks immediate pleasure, and shies away from discomfort. It prioritizes short-term satisfaction over long-term goals, trading lasting fulfillment for fleeting moments of ease. This is the bargain that dooms so many, the subtle agreement to surrender to weakness. They convince themselves that they deserve a break, that they've earned the right to relax, without realizing that every moment of inaction chips away at their resolve. The world preys on this weakness, bombarding you with temptations, distractions, and excuses. It offers a constant stream of entertainment, instant rewards, and readily available escapes from reality. It promises happiness through consumption, validation through social media, and meaning through external sources. To fall into this trap is to become a slave to your desires, a puppet of your impulses, a victim of your own weak will. The weak rationalize their failures, constructing elaborate narratives to justify their lack of discipline. They blame external factors, the economy, their upbringing, their circumstances, rather than taking responsibility for their own choices. They tell themselves that they are not good enough, smart enough, or talented enough to achieve their goals, using these self-limiting beliefs as a shield against the pain of effort and the fear of failure. They compare themselves to others, focusing on their own perceived shortcomings and exaggerating the accomplishments of those around them. This constant comparison fuels envy, resentment, and a sense of inadequacy, further eroding their resolve and reinforcing their self-doubt. They seek validation from others, craving approval and attention, becoming dependent on external validation for their sense of self-worth. This makes them vulnerable to manipulation and easily swayed by the opinions of others, losing sight of their own values and beliefs. They become chameleons, adapting their behavior to fit in with the crowd, sacrificing their authenticity and individuality in the process. The weak are masters of procrastination, endlessly delaying tasks and responsibilities, always finding reasons to put things off until later. They tell themselves that they will start tomorrow, that they will be more motivated then, that the timing will be better. But tomorrow never comes, and the tasks continue to pile up, creating a growing sense of overwhelm and anxiety. They become paralyzed by perfectionism, afraid to start anything unless they can be certain of achieving flawless results. They set unrealistic expectations for themselves, creating an impossible standard that they can never hope to meet. This leads to frustration, disappointment, and ultimately to giving up altogether. They avoid challenges, sticking to what is familiar and comfortable, afraid of failure and unwilling to risk venturing outside their comfort zone. They become stagnant, their skills atrophy, and their potential remains unrealized. They live a life of quiet desperation, filled with regret for the things they never tried and the dreams they never pursued. The antidote to this trap is ruthless self-awareness. It's the unwavering commitment to confront your own weaknesses, to acknowledge your flaws, and to take responsibility for your own actions. It's the courage to reject the easy path, to embrace discomfort, and to push yourself beyond your limits. It's the relentless pursuit of self-improvement, the unwavering dedication to becoming the strongest, most resilient version of yourself. It's the understanding that true strength comes not from avoiding challenges, but from overcoming them. It's the recognition that failure is not the opposite of success, but a necessary step on the path to it. It's the ability to learn from your mistakes, to pick yourself up after you fall, and to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the journey may be. It's the unwavering belief in your own potential, the unwavering commitment to achieving your goals, and the unwavering resolve to never give up on yourself. This is the foundation upon which mental fortitude is built, the bedrock upon which true strength is forged. To truly harden your resolve, you must understand that the world owes you nothing. The universe is indifferent to your desires, your struggles, and your aspirations. Success is not a right, but a privilege earned through relentless effort, unwavering dedication, and strategic calculation. Embrace this harsh reality, and you will find yourself liberated from the shackles of entitlement and victimhood. Stop expecting handouts, stop blaming others for your failures, and start taking responsibility for your own destiny. This is the first step towards forging an unbreakable will. Understand that obstacles are not roadblocks, but opportunities to prove your mettle, to test your limits, and to emerge stronger and more resilient than before. Each challenge you overcome, each setback you endure, each failure you learn from, forges a new layer of armor around your mind, making you less susceptible to doubt, fear, and discouragement. View every hardship as a training exercise, a chance to hone your skills and sharpen your resolve. Embrace the struggle, for it is through struggle that true strength is born. Furthermore, cultivate a strategic mindset. Don't simply react to events as they unfold. Anticipate them, plan for them, and manipulate them to your advantage. Study your opponents, understand their weaknesses, and exploit them ruthlessly. Learn to think several steps ahead, to foresee the consequences of your actions, and to adjust your strategy accordingly. In the arena of life, naivety is a fatal flaw. Be observant, be cunning, and be prepared to play the game with ruthless efficiency. Recognize that information is power, and seek to acquire as much of it as possible. Understand the motivations of others, their desires and their fears, and use this knowledge to influence their actions. Don't be afraid to deceive, to manipulate, or to exploit if necessary. The goal is not to be liked, but to be victorious. Maintain a clear understanding of your objectives and pursue them with unwavering focus, regardless of the obstacles or the moral compromises you may have to make. This is not to advocate for amoral behavior, but rather to acknowledge the harsh realities of the world and to equip yourself with the tools necessary to survive and thrive within it. It is a pragmatic approach, one that recognizes that sentimentality and weakness are often exploited by those who are less scrupulous. Develop the ability to detach yourself emotionally from your goals. While passion and enthusiasm are important, they can also cloud your judgment and make you vulnerable to impulsive decisions. Learn to view your goals objectively, as a series of strategic objectives to be achieved, rather than as emotional attachments to be protected. This detachment allows you to make rational decisions, even in the face of adversity, and to adapt your strategy when necessary. Don't allow your emotions to dictate your actions. Instead, use your intellect to guide you towards your desired outcome. Practice emotional regulation, learning to control your impulses and to channel your energy in a productive manner. Cultivate a sense of inner calm, a stillness of mind that allows you to remain focused and centered, even in the midst of chaos. This requires discipline, self-awareness, and a willingness to confront your own emotional vulnerabilities. But the rewards are immense. Clarity of thought, unwavering resolve, and the ability to perform at your best, regardless of the circumstances. Finally, embrace solitude. Spend time alone with your thoughts, reflecting on your experiences, analyzing your mistakes, and formulating your plans. Solitude is not a sign of weakness, but a source of strength. It is in solitude that you can truly connect with yourself, to understand your own motivations, and to clarify your values. It is in solitude that you can escape the distractions of the world, to silence the noise of your surroundings, and to focus on your inner voice. Use this time to meditate, to journal, to read, or simply to think. The goal is to cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the world. Recognize that true strength comes from within, from a deep-seated sense of self-reliance and independence. The ability to be alone, to be comfortable in your own skin, and to rely on your own resources is a powerful asset in a world that often demands conformity and dependence. Embrace solitude as a sanctuary, a place where you can recharge your batteries, reconnect with your purpose, and fortify your resolve. Remember that the path to mastery is often a solitary one, requiring dedication, sacrifice, and a willingness to walk alone. Consider the legions of Rome, marching across continents, conquering vast territories. Their success was not solely due to superior weaponry or tactical brilliance. It was forged in the crucible of relentless discipline and unwavering resolve. Each legionary was a cog in a machine, trained to suppress individual fear and ambition for the sake of the collective mission. They endured brutal marches, faced overwhelming odds, and witnessed unimaginable horrors. Yet they maintained their formation, held their ground, and pressed forward, driven by a shared purpose and an unbreakable commitment to their comrades and their empire. This resolve was not innate. It was cultivated through rigorous training, constant drilling, and a strict code of conduct. Recruits were stripped of their former identities and molded into soldiers, their minds and bodies conditioned to withstand extreme stress and hardship. They learned to obey orders without question, to suppress their emotions, and to prioritize the needs of the legion above their own personal desires. The Roman military system understood that physical strength alone was not enough to win battles. True strength came from the mind, from the ability to control one's fear, to maintain focus under pressure, and to persevere in the face of adversity. This mental fortitude was the bedrock of Roman military power, enabling them to conquer and control a vast empire for centuries. The legions were a living embodiment of the principle that discipline and resolve can overcome any obstacle. Their example serves as a reminder that the human mind is capable of extraordinary feats of endurance and resilience, but only when properly trained and conditioned. The individual legionary was insignificant on his own, but as part of a disciplined and resolute force, he became a force to be reckoned with. The key to their success lay in their ability to transform ordinary men into extraordinary soldiers, capable of enduring unimaginable hardship and achieving seemingly impossible goals. Their story is a testament to the power of the human spirit and a reminder that the limits of what we can achieve are often self-imposed. Think also of the Spartan warriors, raised from birth to be instruments of war. Their society was built on a foundation of austerity, discipline, and unwavering loyalty to the state. From a young age, Spartan boys were subjected to brutal training designed to strip them of any weakness or vulnerability. They were taught to endure pain, to suppress their emotions, and to prioritize the needs of the collective above their own personal desires. They lived in communal barracks, ate meager rations, and slept on hard mats. Their days were filled with rigorous physical exercise, weapons training, and military drills. The goal was to forge them into fearless and disciplined warriors, capable of facing any enemy without hesitation or fear. The Spartan ethos emphasized simplicity, self-control, and unwavering obedience. They were taught to value honor above all else, and to be willing to sacrifice their lives for the glory of Sparta. Their training instilled in them a deep sense of camaraderie and mutual reliance, forging them into a cohesive and unbreakable fighting force. The Spartans were renowned for their courage, their discipline, and their unwavering resolve. They were outnumbered on countless occasions, but they never faltered, never surrendered, and never lost their fighting spirit. Their example stands as a testament to the power of rigorous training and unwavering commitment. The Spartans understood that true strength comes from within, from the ability to control one's emotions, to suppress one's fears, and to remain focused on the mission at hand. Their legacy is a reminder that the human mind is capable of extraordinary feats of endurance and resilience, but only when properly trained and conditioned. Their unwavering resolve was not merely a matter of physical prowess or tactical skill. It was a reflection of their deeply ingrained values and their unwavering commitment to the Spartan ideal. This internal fortitude allowed them to withstand unimaginable pressure and to achieve seemingly impossible victories. Reflect upon the story of the samurai, the warrior class of feudal Japan. Their code of Bushido, the way of the warrior, emphasized honor, loyalty, self-discipline, and martial skill. Samurai were expected to be fearless in the face of death, to be unwavering in their commitment to their lord, and to be masters of both the sword and the mind. They underwent rigorous training from a young age, honing their combat skills and cultivating their mental fortitude. They practiced meditation, calligraphy, and other arts, seeking to achieve a state of inner peace and harmony. The samurai understood that true strength came not only from physical prowess, but also from mental discipline and spiritual enlightenment. Their code of Bushido provided them with a framework for living a life of honor and purpose. It emphasized the importance of self-control, compassion, and unwavering loyalty. Samurai were expected to be role models for the rest of society, embodying the virtues of courage, integrity, and selflessness. Their commitment to Bushido instilled in them a deep sense of responsibility and a willingness to sacrifice their own lives for the sake of their lord and their clan. The samurai were renowned for their skill in battle, their unwavering loyalty, and their unwavering resolve. They were willing to face any challenge, no matter how daunting, with courage and determination. Their example serves as a reminder that the human mind is capable of extraordinary feats of endurance and resilience, but only when properly trained and conditioned. The samurai's unwavering resolve was not simply a product of their martial training. It was a reflection of their deeply held beliefs and their unwavering commitment to the code of Bushido. This internal strength allowed them to overcome fear, to endure hardship, and to achieve greatness in both life and death. They understood that true mastery required not only skill, but also unwavering mental fortitude. Consider the Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome. They believed that happiness and fulfillment could be achieved by cultivating inner peace and virtue, regardless of external circumstances. Stoicism emphasized self-control, reason, and acceptance of what cannot be changed. Stoics sought to master their emotions, to overcome their fears, and to live in accordance with nature. They believed that true freedom came from within, from the ability to control one's thoughts and actions. Stoicism provided a framework for living a life of purpose and meaning in a chaotic world. It emphasized the importance of self-reliance, resilience, and unwavering commitment to one's values. Stoics were not afraid of adversity. They saw it as an opportunity to test their strength and to grow as individuals. They believed that hardship could make them stronger, more compassionate, and more resilient. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca faced numerous challenges in their lives, including illness, exile, and political persecution. Yet, they remained steadfast in their commitment to Stoic principles, finding peace and fulfillment in the face of adversity. Their writings continue to inspire people today, offering practical guidance on how to live a more meaningful and resilient life. Stoicism teaches us that we have the power to control our own thoughts and emotions, regardless of what is happening around us. It encourages us to focus on what we can control, to accept what we cannot, and to cultivate inner peace and virtue. The Stoic philosophy provides a powerful framework for hardening our resolve and facing the challenges of life with courage, wisdom, and resilience. The Stoics understood that true strength came not from avoiding hardship, but from embracing it as an opportunity for growth. Their unwavering commitment to their principles allowed them to find peace and purpose even in the midst of chaos. True resolve isn't a gift, it's forged in the fires of experience and deliberate self-discipline. It's not about suppressing emotions, but understanding them, dissecting their origins, and then consciously choosing your response. Consider the fear of failure a common obstacle to action. Instead of ignoring it, confront it. Ask yourself, what is the worst possible outcome? Can I live with it? What steps can I take to mitigate that outcome? By engaging with fear in this way, you rob it of its power. You transform it from a paralyzing force into a manageable challenge. This is the essence of psychological resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, stronger and more determined than before. Resolve is built upon the foundation of self-awareness. You must understand your weaknesses, your triggers, the thoughts and emotions that tend to derail you. This requires brutal honesty, a willingness to look at yourself without flinching. It means acknowledging your flaws, not as limitations, but as areas for improvement. It's about building a mental fortress, brick by brick, strengthening your defenses against the inevitable assaults of life. Cultivating resolve requires deliberate practice. It's like training a muscle. You must consistently push yourself beyond your comfort zone, facing challenges that test your limits. This could involve taking on difficult tasks, confronting uncomfortable situations, or simply committing to a daily routine of self-improvement. Each time you overcome a challenge, you strengthen your resolve, reinforcing your belief in your own ability to persevere. A critical element of hardening your resolve is mastering the art of delayed gratification. Our modern world is designed to provide instant satisfaction, constantly bombarding us with temptations that undermine our long-term goals. Resisting these impulses requires conscious effort, a deliberate choice to prioritize long-term gains over short-term pleasures. It's about understanding that true fulfillment comes not from instant gratification, but from the satisfaction of achieving meaningful goals. This ability to delay gratification is directly linked to self-discipline, the ability to control your impulses and actions in pursuit of a larger objective. Self-discipline is not about deprivation, but about conscious choice. It's about aligning your actions with your values, making decisions that support your long-term well-being. This requires a clear understanding of your goals, a strong sense of purpose, and an unwavering commitment to your values. Another key aspect of developing resolve is cultivating a growth mindset. This is the belief that your abilities and intelligence are not fixed traits, but can be developed through dedication and hard work. A growth mindset allows you to embrace challenges as opportunities for learning and growth, rather than viewing them as threats to your self-esteem. It allows you to persevere in the face of setbacks, knowing that effort and persistence are the keys to improvement. It fosters a sense of optimism and resilience, enabling you to bounce back from failures with renewed determination. Moreover, a growth mindset encourages you to seek out feedback, to learn from your mistakes, and to continuously improve your skills and knowledge. This iterative process of learning and improvement is essential for hardening your resolve and achieving your full potential. Learn to reframe negative thoughts. The mind has a natural tendency to dwell on negative experiences, amplifying their impact and undermining your confidence. Learning to reframe these negative thoughts is a powerful tool for building resilience and maintaining a positive outlook. When faced with a setback, instead of dwelling on the negative aspects, focus on what you can learn from the experience. Ask yourself, what did I do well? What could I have done better? What steps can I take to prevent this from happening again? By reframing the experience in this way, you transform it from a source of negativity into an opportunity for growth. Similarly, when faced with a challenging situation, focus on the opportunities that it presents. Ask yourself, what skills can I develop? What relationships can I build? How can I use this experience to grow as an individual? By focusing on the positive aspects of the situation, you can maintain your motivation and resilience, even in the face of adversity. Understand the power of visualization. Visualization is a powerful tool for shaping your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. By mentally rehearsing successful outcomes, you can increase your confidence, reduce anxiety, and improve your performance. Imagine yourself successfully completing a challenging task, overcoming an obstacle, or achieving a long-term goal. Focus on the details of the experience, engaging all of your senses. See yourself performing the task flawlessly, hear the cheers of the crowd, feel the satisfaction of accomplishment. By mentally rehearsing these positive outcomes, you can program your subconscious mind for success, increasing your chances of achieving your goals in the real world. Use visualization to prepare yourself for difficult situations, mentally rehearsing how you will respond to challenges and setbacks. This will help you to stay calm and focused under pressure, allowing you to perform at your best. The process of hardening your resolve is a continuous journey, not a destination. It requires ongoing effort, self-reflection, and a willingness to embrace challenges as opportunities for growth. By cultivating self-awareness, practicing self-discipline, adopting a growth mindset, reframing negative thoughts, and utilizing the power of visualization, you can build an unbreakable mental framework, enabling you to face the challenges of life with courage, wisdom, and resilience. The key is unwavering commitment to the process. Consider the story of James Mattis, a Marine general known for his strategic brilliance and unwavering resolve. He wasn't just a battlefield commander. He was a student of history, a scholar of war, and a master of the human mind. Mattis understood that physical strength alone couldn't win wars. It was the mental fortitude, the ability to withstand immense pressure and make critical decisions under fire, that truly separated the victors from the vanquished. During the invasion of Iraq in 2003, Mattis faced a situation that tested his resolve to its absolute limit. His Marines were engaged in fierce urban combat, facing a determined enemy that was deeply entrenched within the city of Fallujah. The fighting was brutal, house to house, street to street, with heavy casualties on both sides. As the battle raged on, Mattis received intelligence reports indicating that a large number of civilians were trapped in the city, caught in the crossfire. He knew that any military action to dislodge the enemy could result in significant civilian casualties, potentially undermining the entire mission and turning the local population against the coalition forces. He was in a crucible. The weight of the decision rested squarely on his shoulders. On one hand, he had a duty to protect his Marines and accomplish the mission. On the other hand, he had a moral obligation to minimize harm to innocent civilians. He was being squeezed between strategic imperative and ethical responsibility. Many commanders might have succumbed to the pressure, ordering a full-scale assault to quickly eliminate the enemy, regardless of the consequences. But Mattis refused to compromise his values. He understood that true strength lies not in brute force, but in the ability to exercise restraint and make difficult choices, even when lives are on the line. Instead of unleashing overwhelming firepower, Mattis made a bold and unconventional decision. He ordered a temporary halt to the offensive, giving civilians a chance to evacuate the city. He knew that this would prolong the fighting and give the enemy more time to prepare defenses, but he believed it was the right thing to do. Mattis's decision was met with skepticism and criticism from some quarters. Some argued that he was putting his Marines at unnecessary risk, that he was prioritizing the lives of civilians over the lives of his own troops. But Mattis stood his ground, unwavering in his conviction. He knew that the long-term consequences of a bloody and indiscriminate assault would be far greater than the short-term risks of a temporary ceasefire. During the pause in fighting, Mattis's Marines worked tirelessly to facilitate the evacuation of civilians. They set up checkpoints, provided food and water, and helped families escape the war zone. They showed the Iraqi people that they were not the enemy, that they were there to liberate them from a brutal dictatorship. Mattis's actions had a profound impact on the outcome of the battle. By demonstrating respect for civilian lives, he won the trust and support of the local population. Many Iraqis provided valuable intelligence about the enemy's positions, helping the Marines to plan their next moves. When the offensive resumed, the Marines were able to isolate and defeat the enemy with minimal civilian casualties. The Battle of Fallujah was a resounding victory, not just because the Marines had prevailed on the battlefield, but because they had done so in a way that upheld their values and earned the respect of the Iraqi people. Mattis's resolve was tested in the fires of conflict. His story serves as a powerful reminder that true strength lies not in physical dominance but in moral courage, strategic foresight, and unwavering commitment to doing what is right, even when it is difficult. In the ruthless arena of life, you will face your own Fallujah. Will you compromise? Will you sacrifice your principles for short-term gain? Or will you stand firm, guided by your values, and emerge victorious, not just in the battle but in the war for your own soul? Resolve isn't a feeling. It's a conscious decision to keep moving forward when every cell in your body screams for you to stop. It's the ability to override instinct, to ignore the siren song of comfort and ease. It's a muscle, forged in the crucible of adversity, strengthened by repeated exposure to pain and discomfort. Every time you choose the harder path, every time you push through the resistance, you add another layer of armor to your resolve. It's not about being fearless. It's about acting despite the fear. It's about acknowledging the pain and moving forward anyway. The world will test you, it will probe for weakness, it will try to break you. It will present you with impossible choices, with situations that seem insurmountable. It will whisper doubts in your ear, telling you that you're not good enough, that you're not strong enough, that you should just give up. These are the moments that define you. These are the moments where your resolve is truly tested. Will you succumb to the pressure? Will you let the world dictate your fate? Or will you rise to the challenge and forge your own path? Think of resolve as the foundation upon which you build your life. A weak foundation will crumble under pressure. A strong foundation will withstand the storm. Every compromise, every act of self-sabotage, every time you choose comfort over growth, you weaken that foundation. Conversely, every time you push yourself beyond your limits, every time you face your fears, every time you choose integrity over expediency, you strengthen it. The stronger your foundation, the more resilient you become. Mastering your resolve is about mastering yourself. It's about taking control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. It's about refusing to be a victim of circumstance. It's about becoming the master of your own destiny. It's a lifelong process, a constant battle against your own limitations. But the rewards are immeasurable. A life lived with unwavering resolve is a life lived on your own terms, a life of purpose, a life of meaning. Consider this: a sharpened blade requires constant honing. The moment you cease the sharpening, the edge begins to dull. Your resolve is no different. Complacency is the enemy. The moment you become comfortable, the moment you stop pushing yourself, you begin to lose your edge. Seek out challenges, embrace discomfort, constantly test your limits. This is how you maintain the sharpness of your resolve. Understand that resolve is not about blind stubbornness. It's not about clinging to a lost cause. It's about having the wisdom to know when to adapt, when to change course, but never abandoning your core values. It's about being flexible but unbreakable. It's about being able to bend without breaking. It's about understanding that setbacks are inevitable, but failure is a choice. The path of resolve is not easy. It requires sacrifice, discipline, and unwavering commitment. But it is the only path that leads to true fulfillment. It is the only path that allows you to unlock your full potential. It is the only path that allows you to become the person you were meant to be. Embrace the struggle. Embrace the pain. Embrace the discomfort. For it is in these moments that you will